When you hold your breath, you hear your own heartbeat.
That's how filmmaker Werner Herzog describes his experience visiting the Chauvet cave in the south of France. The cave is a treasure trove of artwork that dates to the last ice age, and it is the subject of Herzog's latest documentary, Cave of Forgotten Dreams. Scientific American sat down with the famed director to discuss his film and the journey into the Chauvet cave.
Sometimes you had this feeling everything is so fresh, and the cave was left in such a pristine state as a perfect time capsule. You had the feeling it was just a few days ago that a cave bear walked along. The tracks are fairly fresh. But we know the cave bear went extinct some 20,000 years ago. It's just completely stunning.
The Chauvet cave was discovered in 1994, but Herzog is the first to document it on film, and he may be the last.
The dangers are too obvious. Lascaux, for example, the most famous cave so far before Chauvet was discovered, allowed too many people in there. And the exhalation, the breath of too many people left a mold on the walls which cannot be controlled easily. And they had to shut it down categorically.
So in order to film there, he had to get special permission from the French government. Even then, he was only allowed access for a few hours per day. This was to minimize exposure to toxic gases that poisoned the cave's air supply. Overcoming these obstacles was well worth the effort. The film gives us an unprecedented glimpse into Paleolithic Europe and the creatures that once lived there.
All the creatures, the entire bestiary, almost all of them extinct by now. The woolly rhino, the woolly mammoth, megaloceros, cave bears, cave lions. But because of the paintings, we know that the males had no mane.
So was there a particular animal on the cave walls that sort of captured your imagination?
More than anything, the lions, because it's such an ingenious ensemble of lions stalking some prey, and all the eyes are completely focused at one target, and we don't know what they are stalking.
It's easy to imagine each of these drawings having a single creator. But new evidence reveals they are the work of many artists, sometimes separated by thousands of years.
When you look at some of the paintings, somebody makes a charcoal painting of a reindeer, and we can fairly precisely date it through radiocarbon dating. And somebody completes the picture and overpaints it somewhat. We can establish that this other person did it 5,000 years later.
One of Herzog's boldest claims is that the cave walls represent a kind of prehistoric cinema.
What is striking, you see a galloping bison, and the bison has 8 legs, somehow hinting movement. Or you see a woolly rhino, and you see it in 8 phases, the horn of the rhino and the body just one next to the other and moving on as if it were an early form of cartoon movie in phases, and in a way that you had to stand with the fires behind you, and you would have the panel of horses. As a person, you would cast shadows, and the animals were somehow flickering and slightly moving with a torchlight. These paintings would pulse, they would move, they would have a different life. But using the term proto-cinema, of course, is a little bit provocative.
Herzog doesn't leave his proto-cinema purely to imagination. He creates his own version with the help of a very modern invention, LED lights. This was the only lighting he was allowed to bring inside the cave.
What we did is we would move the light. If there was a niche, for example, where you are sitting, and when you move the light, when you walk away with the light, all of a sudden the shadows grow longer and longer. And it gives a very strong sense of formation of space, a drama of space which was understood and utilized by the painters.
Herzog's film opens in U.S. theaters April 29th. And for now, it may be the closest most of us can get to the Cave of Forgotten Dreams. For Scientific American, I'm Eric Olson.
Silence, please. We're going to listen to the cave, and perhaps we can even hear our own heartbeats.